Yelai 5. Why were World War I and World War II seen as a world wars, yet the 7 Years' War wasn't seen as one? I've always wondered this. The 7 Years' War was fought on multiple continents and decided the world as we know it, just like both world wars. I just don't get why it wasn't seen as a world war, and I came here to ask why. At the end of the day, this is really a linguistics question more than anything, and the answer is that people don't name things based on some logical scientific system. They didn't make a list of all the wars and run statistics and mathematically classify them based on scale and casualties in order to determine the most objective naming scheme. That's just not how language works. People name things largely based on what feels right. That kid in the neighborhood whose nickname's Slim, did they measure all the neighborhood kids and determine he was objectively the slimmest? Obviously not. Slim just felt like the right nickname. Maybe someone else is actually skinnier, but that doesn't matter, because Slim is Slim now. World War I happened a century and a half after the 7 Years' War, so nobody was alive who had experienced both, and evidently people didn't really consider it a second iteration of the 7 Years' War, so they just called it the Great War. You can make arguments that maybe World War I really was just 7 Years Part 2, I dunno, you'd have to ask a historian. But that doesn't matter, because that's not what the people at the time decided to call it, and it's not what stuck. World War II happened only 20 years after World War I, and largely as a direct result of tensions created in the aftermath of World War I. It definitely felt like a sequel to the people of the time, quite a lot of whom were alive for both wars. So the 1 and 2 naming scheme stuck.